Good morning, everyone. I'm here today cooking macaroni soup. It's my version of it. It's a Filipino dish, also called sopas. These are the ingredients that we use when cooking this dish. Today I'm going to be using about a half a pound of ground beef, and I usually get the 93.7% fat. Cooks down a lot better, less fat, less oil, grease in the cooking. For flavor, we're using this Nora beef cube, just one, about a half a bag or 1 cup of elbow macaroni noodles, salt and pepper. And then we like to use Nestle Carnation milk, evaporated milk. You can use any brand, really. 1 can of that. Starting out with 1 onion, some garlic. And we have carrots and celery. Different colors of bell peppers, just to give the soup a little color. And of course cabbage and green onions. So I'm gonna get to chopping here. Takes me a little while. I'm not as fast as my wife. Just sit back and enjoy. And I'm back, everyone. I'm done chopping all the vegetables. Took me quite a while. Here at the stove, I'm gonna brown this ground meat. I like to brown it in a separate pan or pot from the what I'm cooking the original, soup in, because so I get a chance to drain the oil out of it if it makes too much oil. So I'm just letting the pan heat up. Gonna add a little bit of olive oil because this 93%, the 94%, 93%, 7% fat ground beef doesn't make much oil at all, if any at all. So you need to start with a little bit of olive oil so that it doesn't stick and burn. Alright, let's add the ground meat. Add just a little bit of water. If you need to add water to keep it from burning or sticking, that's fine. You can use that water to scrape the bottom of the pan. There's a lot of flavor that comes from that. And the water we eventually cook out, so no worries. And I like to add salt and pepper a little bit to this meat when I'm browning it, just to give it a little extra flavor. As you can see, the water's pretty much cooked out, and this meat really doesn't have any oil to it at all, so I won't have to be straining any of the oil out of here. Just add this straight to the pot I'm going to use for the sopas. Not sure what kind of pot this is, but it's not a Magnolite, but it cooks just like a Magnolite. It's a great pot. Magnolites are great. So that's what I'm going to be using today. We'll start with some olive oil. And let that heat up, and we're going to add our onions and garlic first. Then we'll add our meat to that, and then we'll continue the dish. I usually try to keep the dishes washed as we're cooking, either me or my wife, so we don't have a big mess to clean up later. I like to start with onions because garlic tends to burn as the longer it stays in the pot before you actually start the cooking process. Cook these for about a minute or so before you add the garlic. Like I said, this is my way, my version of sopas. By no means is this a how-to video or a recommendation. Just me cooking. We'll add the garlic. I'll add a little more water so I can add this beef cube. This beef cube is going to help give it a little flavor. Let's add our ground meat also. We'll add the macaroni, the raw macaroni. And that's 1 cup. I'll just stir this in before adding some more water. I'll add a little more salt and pepper. Pepper is one of the key ingredients in this dish. Usually has a slight kick to it. I'm going to add some water and cook down this macaroni a little bit. It'll take about 7-10 minutes maybe. And we'll start adding vegetables. So it's your preference how much water you want to add to this to cook this sopas, because I personally like a lot of sabaw, a lot of soup. So I add more water. But some people prefer there to be less water and more like a thicker consistency, more macaroni noodles. I prefer to have more soup. I like to eat this when it's cold outside or wintertime especially. Alright, we'll let this come back to a boil. Check on the noodles in a few minutes and start adding our vegetables. Alright, we're back. Our soup is boiling. Turn it down a little bit, about to medium-high heat maybe. The macaroni is not fully cooked, but we need to start with the vegetables. There is an order to the madness. You want to put your carrots first. It takes the longest to cook, and then you want to add your celery, bell peppers together. Usually I do it together. Then at the very end we'll add the cabbage, because that takes hardly no time at all. And you don't want to cook these vegetables down to where they're mushy. You just want to, cook them a little bit. You still want them to have a little bit of crunch to them. So let's add these carrots first. At this point, you probably want to taste this this soup and then season to taste. With sopas, I like to keep it simple with seasoning, and I usually just use black pepper and salt, and of course that the beef cube. But as far as adding any extra seasoning, I usually just stick with salt. And just cook this for about 5 to 7 minutes with the carrots in it, and then you'll add your celery and bell peppers together, and maybe a couple minutes after that I like to add the milk, evaporated milk, and cook that down for a few minutes, and add the cabbage right at the end. The green onions that I chopped can be added at the very end with the cabbage also. Or you can use the green onions as a garnish. Add our celery. And our bell peppers. I'm going to let this come back to a boil. Alright, let's add this milk, 1 can of milk. It's about what I'm going to use for this. Just add it slowly and stir. Alright, looking good. We'll let this come back to a boil and I'll be right back. Alright, let's check this out. Alright, so add our cabbage. Stir it in. Okay, I'm going to let this return to a boil. Then I'm going to turn off the heat and let the cabbage continue cooking. And we'll be done. Okay. Alright, and give this a stir. Looks like we're done. Because I have so much liquid in here, so much soup, I always use a ladle to serve. There you have it. Macaroni soup. Also known as sopas.